Hello and welcome to this Indian football show. Delhi's football, when we talk about Delhi's football, Delhi is not really in the picture as with other states of India. Yet, Delhi had hold a very important place in Indian football history. And some of the Delhi footballers, they have played in the other leagues in Goa and Calcutta and elsewhere. Today we have with us Football Delhi's president Mr. Shaji Prabhakaran, and we will talk about the progress and overall a picture of what has happened with Delhi's football, what is the decline reason, I mean the popularity of football, and the other issues that are really kind of roadblocked Delhi's progress into the mainstream of Indian football. Welcome, Shaji.
Thank you, Aminul. Pleasure.
So basically, you had taken over as the president of Football Delhi. It has been couple of years, more than couple of years now, and with a lot better infrastructure and better office than compared to what it was before. So where is the? I mean, a lot of people asks where is the problem that lies with Delhi's football?
Thank you, Aminul. It's a very interesting question. The problems, I would not say, it's a permanent problem or anything. It's because last few decades we haven't, done the kind of work we should have done. Yeah, and what has happened is with DCM Durand going out of Delhi, this also kind of impacted the engagement of local fans and the motivation of local club as well. And that's where there is, we don't see that energy in the local football. But the good aspect is that the clubs, those who are, running and managing different clubs in Delhi, they consistently kept football alive in Delhi with their own hard work, with their own hard-earned money, and with their passion. And what it required is that how we build their capacity and bring it to a level. Now the challenges are only grown in last few decades, because when the fans have stopped coming to stadium, your brand value, your the football popularity and the brand connect gets reduced considerably. And that's where the clubs are not able to find local promoters, local funding as well. So therefore the clubs which used to operate in, say, a higher budget, as per Delhi's standard, they have also reduced that budget because local supports have come down. And the other aspect is with the satellite television and global football available, in India since late 90s. Therefore, the local football also got hit, and the fans have, most of them have started following big clubs, and therefore that also has put Delhi football, Delhi local club also into a comparison, which is not a fair comparison, because the clubs in Delhi, except one or two clubs, doesn't even have any infrastructure, because Delhi being a capital city, the land is a huge asset, and which is not available with the Delhi club. In last 3 decades, the number of football grounds have gone down, yeah, and the accessibility to facility also have gone down, yeah. And though more private academies have come up, which is engaging more children and more youths into football, but then unfortunately those academies are not connected to the mainstream football, which we are trying to do right now, because that is the broad, the bigger picture is how we create a culture. Yeah, so our vision is to have 1,000 teams at the grassroots league, in our league, in another 2 years time, so that every corner in Delhi, every space in Delhi on a particular day in the week, people can see football. And this these children are are the energy of our community. And if they can get engaged, and that is where 10 years, 15 years, we will see that Delhi is kind of becoming the leading state in every. And that is where the major focus is on. And there we would like to connect the club ultimately, because we have to support clubs a lot. We need to build their capacity, and we need to see how they can generate more resources, more revenue, so that they can do a lot of things with the community. And our ultimate aim is, when we build this grassroots structure, we want to build a round club. And so that the clubs, if you ask the clubs right now, few clubs might do it, not every club, because they don't have the resources right now. And that's why we are not pushing them right now. But once we able to build this structure, and then we will hand it over to them, yeah, and then it will become a revenue opportunity for them, and then they will be able to sustain it. Yeah. And that is the model we see in terms of sustainability, because whatever we will do, if it is not sustainable, it is not going to work. Yeah. And that is why it will take time, and to see result on the ground, it is 5, 6, 7 years away.
One last question before we end the show is: do you think, do you still, I mean, do you, I mean, agree with me the sociological changes in the country or in the capital city, has affected or changed the mindset of the parents, changed the mindset of the parents as well as with the children, in Delhi? I'm talking in Delhi proper, because if you compare Delhi with Manipur, a lot of people say that Manipur also don't have infrastructure, but the cosmopolitan life in Delhi, has it affected the children, the new generation, for not taking up sport, especially football, which they feel that it doesn't have any future. It's like the parents' pressure, the peer group pressure for going into the the professional aspect of their life career, which will build them, which will help them. Is that is I mean, could that be also one of the main reasons why Delhi footballer, I mean, the football is not coming up?
See, that's absolutely one of the reason, because if we see, the trajectory of football in Delhi, say till 90s, 90, early 90s, before the liberalization, yeah, before the opening of the economy, yeah, you will see a different phase. And after the liberalization of Indian economy, you will see a different phase, because the major impact of the economic liberalization has come to Delhi and metro cities. Yeah. And that has created multiple avenues for people. Yeah. So therefore all of them will look for those better opportunities, economic opportunities. And football definitely was not one of the opportunities where parents who are aware of its potential, and the economic impact it will have if one follows or takes up football. So definitely that has played in the minds of the people. Yeah. And there, and also at the unfortunate part was also that these academies all started in last 7, 10 years. Yeah. And at that time in the 90s and all, the late 90s, early 2000, there were not many academies also. Yeah. And therefore there was a gap. Yeah. and and definitely, because if we take example of Manipur and Delhi, though Manipur will have infrastructure challenges, but still they will have a lot of open fields, and it is not insecure environment again. Delhi, it is more insecure in many ways, because parents won't leave their children alone in a street or in a play field. Yeah. So therefore all have to find a time to devote for child's passion also. Yeah. So therefore how a parent can go and spend a weekend with a child to play football, but then whether you have that platform or opportunity or not. but it also have to be available within a distance. Yeah, it can't be like you are traveling 2 hours to put your to see your son play football. It is not sustainable, and that is what. But right now, again, things are changing. Yeah, what is happening is in Delhi and all those have ones are more into football than any other sports, and that is where we have to make sure that football is governed, structured, and administered in a particular way, so that this economically sound people doesn't get disconnected with football. So we have to create the right opportunities for them as well, yeah, so that they remain in football, and they also motivate others to be part of football also. So that is where we are trying to see how in Delhi the this economically upward people can come and become part of clubs also, that there is an opportunity for people who are having the passion for the game but doesn't have a platform, but they have the resources. Okay, let's align with the existing clubs and help the community, and uh, let the your vision can be implemented through the existing clubs.
So we all hope, Shaji, that Delhi football will revive its glory. And as you said, that time span is very important. I mean, we need to be patient. I mean, in fact, everybody has to be patient for the work that you or your team has done, and then for that, the fruits needs to be grown, or needs to be nurtured. It will take some time. So we all hope that Delhi football will be back into the shape in Indian football mainstream. And thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you, Aminul. It was really a great pleasure to speak with you, and all the best. Thank you.